this regular meeting of the sorry, jumped ahead.
Let me have the folks join the room first. Thank you. Okay.
All right. I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Palm Springs Public Arts Commission for Wednesday, November 16th, 2022. Jay, would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Lesniak.
Present.
Commissioner Pavot.
Here.
Commissioner Newkirk.
Here.
Vice Chair Armstrong.
Here.
Chair Pritchard.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
All right, very good. So we can move on to item C, which is acceptance of the agenda. I think we can do one amendment under H. We have Commissioner Newkirk, number 3, doing art mapping, and number 6, discuss mobile art or mobile app art tour project. Can that be combined into just number 3, Barrett?
Yeah, thanks. I was going to suggest the same thing.
Yeah, we just doubled up. So we'll just delete H, item number 6. So can I have a motion to accept the agenda, please?
I make a motion to accept the agenda.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. And we'll move on to public comment. This time it's been set aside for members of the public to address the Public Arts Commission on items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission, and agenda items if the member of the public cannot be present later in the meeting at the time the item is heard by the commission. Additionally, members of the public may address the commission on each item listed on the posted agenda at the time each item is heard. Although the Public Arts Commission values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. 3 minutes are assigned to each speaker. Jay, do we have members of the public wish to make comments?
We'll ask the public if they would like to make any comments, so please raise their hand. If you're here for an item that's on the agenda, we can discuss that item when that item comes up. Okay, Ms. Christine Soto.
I'm here for an agenda item. So did you want to, am I going to talk about it then, or would you like me to?
If you're not the representative for that agenda item, now would be the appropriate time to go on and make your comments.
I'm the representative, Adam and I.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anyone else, Jay?
No one else has their hand up, Mr. Chair, so I believe that's it.
Okay. All right, well then we'll move on to item number E, which is remarks from the chair. I just briefly wanted to bring all of the commissioners to the attention of our art maintenance contract. I had Jay send it out this past week, and hopefully everybody has printed out a copy of it. So you can see specifically what the contract is addressed over the next 3 years. And I also had Jay send some pictures of before and after of what has been done on some of our pieces. The art maintenance people, Signature Sculptures, have done all of the pieces at the airport, convention center, and they're working on pieces in Sunrise Park. And I wanted to bring this attention because one of the agenda items is an actual repair that's necessary to one of the pieces. So it shows that the contract is for maintenance and upkeep, cleaning, and then identifying, excuse me, when there is a problem specific to a piece, then it comes to us for approval as a very specific repair that's necessary. So hopefully commissioners have had the chance to print out that contract and become a little bit more familiar with the scope of it. And then I also wanted to mention that this past week, former Chair Sheffer has given me a document that is an inventory list of 77 pieces of public art in our collection. And it's not totally up to date. I don't know what the date is of this collection, but it shows 77 pieces, the date that they were installed, the artist, the title, the location, and the value. So I think this is a very important document that I'll have Jay send out to you in the next couple of days, along with a mapping of where they are and identified to give you a little bit more fuller understanding of all of our collection, which is very important. We did have a person under contract a couple of years ago to update the inventory list in connection, but there was issues with getting access to files at City Hall, so that contract sort of fell to the wayside. So that's for something we should address in the new year, is how to get our inventory list completely up to date, because there are certainly many pieces that are now in our collection which are not on this list. But this is a very good starting point for all of the commissioners to know basically what we have, where it came from, who the artist is, and what its value is. So, and then two other incidental items. We have been discussing the relocation of intersecting cubes. I did reach out to Adam Lerner at the museum to propose that we install at the Architectural and Design Museum, and that request was declined. So we can move forward with looking for alternative locations for that. And I know Commissioner Lesniak, you have some that you have suggested, so we can address that in January. And then slightly more pressing, the installation lawn chair, which has been at the Skylark Hotel, has now been removed and is in the storage maintenance yard. So that is the piece that we need to find a new location for also in the new year. A little bit more pressing for that one being that the intersecting cubes is already installed. We just don't want to have the lawn chair languish in the storage yard. So if everybody can, in their travels over the next month or so, if you see a spot, email me, let me know, and we'll get that as an agenda item in January or February and get that relocated. And that's all I have. So let's move on to F, which is remarks from the vice chair, if you have any.
I have one thing. I'm going to be speaking on a couple of things that have happened over the past week further down in the agenda, but there's one thing I did want to address. In Sunday night, I was at a dinner sponsored by the Fund of the Inland Empire Community Foundation and an Arts Fund for Cultural Leadership. And there's an upcoming study that's coming out on the effect of arts and economic prosperity. And that will be coming out next fall. And what they are doing is the foundation is going around to every cultural event and major arts exhibitions, and they're surveying people on their impact of arts in their financial decision-making, if they traveled here for that, how that impacted, how they chose this area. I did ask them to provide us with information not only on the impact of the arts on tourists, but also on local residents, because I think that's key for us, because everybody in the room was very much in support of cultural arts, but we also need to sell through things to the city council and the impact, the positive impact and the social impact of arts on the local communities as well. So as I said, that'll be coming out probably next October. That was a lovely time. And I was able to sit down and sit next to, during dinner, to the editor of the Desert Sun. And she had a lot of questions on what we were doing. She's very interested, and I applauded her and thanked her for all their positive coverage we've done so far. And, you know, she asked about some of the things she's heard about. I gave her as much as I could, but hopefully we'll be getting some nice positive feedback and media coverage down the road.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, then we'll move on to items G, items for discussion and or approval. Item number 1 is to consider the proposal from, and pardon me if I don't pronounce this properly, the Yanahan of the Desert.
Bayanihan, close.
Thank you, not even close, sorry. For Dubuque Park Community Center mural in the amount of $22,000. So do you have a couple of representatives? Did you want to speak about this?
Yeah, hi. Hi, everyone. My name's Christine Soto. I'm part of the Bayanihan group and have been since 2020 and working lately specifically on this mural project. I'll keep it short. We just want to update you on our progress and then also share with you some creative elements for the mural. Adam's here. You can see he just popped up. He's the artist.
Hello.
He can share with that. I have a couple slides, Jay. Can I share my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Full screen. I think everyone's familiar with Bayanihan and our mural project. We approached you all back in 2020. What year is it? 2021. So we've been working on this for about a year, and we're making good progress. Before I update you on the progress and then send it over to Adam, I just wanted to share a little personal history. Like I mentioned, my name is Christine Soto. I was born and raised in Palm Springs, and my family moved here. My Filipino great-grandfather, Santos de Jesus, moved here in the 30s. And, you know, our family's still here after all these years. We are, you know, have been around as long as Palm Springs has been a city. And I just wanted to share this quick article. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's from last year, so pretty recent. But it occurred to me that Santos's history is, like, it surprised me that it's so enduring. You know, he's like a caterer, basically. And if you are a Palm Springs history buff, you probably, you know, you might have heard of him. And I realized that his history is so enduring because of his connection to Palm Springs lore. You know, he catered for Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby, as you can see right here. And I'm proud of that, and I think it's cool, but I also realized there's so many more Filipino stories than just Santos. And the reason that he's, you know, his history is burnished is because of that proximity to the famous people that we associate, you know, the mid-century sort of storyline that we've created about Palm Springs. But there's so much more diversity beyond that, especially when it comes to the Filipino community. And Palm Springs has been very supportive. Last year, the city made a proclamation that October is officially Filipino American History Month. So it's not gone unnoticed, but this mural will be like a physical representation of the importance of the Filipino community. And yeah, so thank you for letting me share that. Just wanted to put it in perspective and introduce myself. This is my first time presenting to you all and being a representative for Bayanihan. We have been working, like I said, we're a totally grassroots organization. Everyone's a volunteer, everyone has full-time jobs, everyone has kids, all that stuff. But we've spent the past year really digging in and spending time thinking about what this mural could mean and where it should be and who's involved. And we're at the point where we have a draft, and once our budget's approved, then we could get started on actually putting the mural up and then have a plan for, you know, publicity and developing programs in the Duluth Community Center. Okay, well, on that note, I think I'll just let Adam reveal the first draft, unless anyone has questions or anything.
I will do Adam first, and then the commissioners will chime in.
Okay,
For sure.
great.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adam, born and raised in Palm Springs. And if you can, Christine, so the first draft of the mural. So basically what I did was try to depict the Filipinos in the Philippines and stateside in the Coachella Valley, revolving around the theme of perseverance, community, and empowerment, all the while being connected to the land, also in the Philippines and in the Coachella Valley. In the center, I like to start in the center, which we call the Bahay Kubo, which is an indigenous home in the Philippines, that is usually built by community. So I wanted to have that as a strong symbol of like the origin and like the soul of the Filipino people community. And is it okay if I go through all the different figures? I don't know how much time we have exactly.
Well, technically, you really only have 3 minutes, but we could be a little bit lenient.
Okay, I'll do my best to make it quick.
Thank you.
Yeah. So on the left and right of the Bahay Kubo are Lapu-Lapu and Gabriela Silang. They're instrumental national heroes of the Philippines. They're known for fighting off the initial attempts by Spanish conquistadors to colonize the Philippines. And from left to right, on the left side, you see the Philippines, where I'm showcasing agriculture, rice terraces, a man and his carabaos, water buffalo, tilling the land, family, which is very important in the Filipino community, and celebrating traditions such as our traditional dances, and also I'm also showcasing different plants that are endemic to the Philippines. And on the right, I try to mirror that same type of sentiment and theme, showcasing Filipino workers in the fields here in the Coachella Valley and in the grape fields. World War II veteranos onto your right, nurses representing Filipinos in the medical field, and Catholicism, which is very integral part of Filipino community and tradition. Representing, I have St. Teresa's, which is off of Ramon and Farrell, and the idol of Santo Niño, which is right next to the nurses and the DJ. I have the DJ on the right representing just hip hop and the celebration of music, which is also very important, very integral. And on the left side, I have an indigenous woman playing kulintang, which is a traditional instrument in the Philippines. And above that, from left to right, I had different activists and that I like to speak on. So on the left is Lorena Barros. She's an activist in the 70s in the Philippines. She was instrumental in organizing the people, helping organize with the People Power movement to oust Ferdinand Marcos. Next to her is Jose Rizal, a writer and revolutionary who fought against Spanish occupation. And on his right is Larry Itliong. He was instrumental in organizing Filipino farm workers here stateside. And the first strike that he was instrumental in creating, producing was here in the Coachella Valley in the Great Fields in '65, which led to increases in wage and labor rights for Filipino farm workers and just farm workers in general. And to the right of him is Dawn Mabalan, who passed away recently. She's an activist and professor and who was a historian of Filipino American history and spent her life creating curriculum to share with the community. That's what I have.
Oh, great, Adam. Thank you. That helps illustrate sort of what's going on, because some of our question was, okay, who are these people and what is the tie and the connection? And would you make a plan within the mural to identify the people on the mural, or would you use some sort of QR code or something for?
Yes, I think maybe having both.
Mhm.
You know, having the names in probably some type of placard and some type of silhouetted form where they can get their names and have a QR code that would go deep into their history,
Okay.
their bios.
Okay, I want to make just a couple of points, and then I know some of the commissioners will have some input as well. Just sort of technically, with our Arts Commission funds, we cannot pay for any outreach, programming, or educational part of your budget. We can only pay
Okay.
for actual creation of art. We can only
Okay.
do programming and education if we have a specific endowment for that, which we do not. So all of our funds would have to go directly
Directly
to
to the artist.
item B and item C, which would be your artist fee and materials.
Something that we spoke on, if you don't mind me speaking, was to have all the funds come to the artist. And we were gonna do grassroots organizing to fund outside of the Arts Commission funding, if that would be okay.
Well, only if you're saying your artist fee would be the $11,000 of what this budget is now proposed.
Opposed to the 22.
No, because as I'm saying, with our art ordinance, we can only fund the creation of art, not all of the research, development, and programming. So we would have to see a budget that identifies what your fee is, because in this thing, there's subject to change under item B. So that number would change. And then also you have on the agenda or the scheduling, final mural approval of June of 23. So you would not actually have the final drawing approved within the community until June of 23, which means that you cannot apply for the permit until you have the final draft of the mural, which
I
would
think
be,
that was a misprint. Christine, can you verify that?
Yeah,
I believe that
I'm,
was for this year, correct?
we did make an update earlier today and we might have messed it up. No, we plan to have the final draft before year's end.
Yes.
all right, well, see, well, the two issues at hand here are that we, as the Arts Commission, like I'm saying, we can only approve the art part of it. And we can't really approve the budget until it's final with the drawing,
Is,
with the permit in place. So theoretically, myself on the commission, fully supportive of this, but from the art standpoint of it, and funding the creation, the artist fee and the materials, and extending our things to cover the fee processing, which is $950, and the notification, which is $476 for a total of $1,426, which you do when you are ready with the final mural design and go to the city for the permit for it. And then it comes to us for the approval of the mural. So that's sort of when we can do all of the money part. We can't approve a random budget number prior to having a specific mural in place, because we can't, the city council has to approve the expenditure, and we can't get city council approval without a specific number document and drawing to show them this is what we're spending our money on. So we're just a little bit premature on us approving any money part of it, but we're certainly, as I said, from my standpoint, I could see the Arts Commission is fully supportive of this, but we would have to have the final mural and all of the final numbers in place before we can approve any dollar amount. If you understand sort of the process that we have to go through.
sure.
Yeah,
Have
just so I'm
you,
clear. Sorry,
no,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Adam.
No, go ahead, Christine.
Yeah, like let's say we had the final, in this meeting, which we don't, but you could look at the artwork, approve it. That would then kick to city council. They would approve the financial expenditure and also issue the permit.
No, the permit can only be applied when you have the final drawing mural is going to look like.
Okay.
And then that's when it comes to us for approval. And that's when we would say, yes, we are going to approve X amount of dollars, whether it's 10, 12,000 for the artist fee and materials, and we're covering the 1426 for the processing and permit fees. And that's when it goes to city council. And if you have already prepaid the fees, which you would have to, you would get reimbursed for that. And the artist would then submit an invoice to the city manager's office once the funds are approved, and that would get paid out from the city manager's office.
Okay.
So that's sort of the step-by-step process that we have to go through.
Okay, thanks.
So if you do have a updated timeline and when you're going to have the final mural approval done, then as soon as you submit that, let us know so we can calendar you for whatever is going to be the appropriate Arts Commission meeting.
There's one coming up January, correct? Late
That's going to be our next one, correct?
Okay.
All right, and then I do know that a couple of commissioners had just sort of general comments to input on the actual design. So just for input and feedback. So Commissioner Armstrong?
Hi, Adam. I have two questions, and one is for Adam and one, I guess, is for Christine. And the one for Adam is, again, as Russell said, I think the mural is an amazing idea and I'm fully supportive of it. I do ask that the Palm Springs portion relates to Palm Springs. You talked a lot about the Coachella Valley and the Valley area, but we're the Palm Springs Public Arts Commission, so we try and ensure that all the art looks distinct to Palm Springs. And
Right.
Christine mentioned, there's notable Filipinos in our history here, so perhaps they could be integrated, or something in the background that shows that it's unique to Palm Springs.
Yes, definitely. I plan
Yeah.
to put
Yeah.
that into the final draft for sure.
Yeah, and as I said, I think, something like this as it stands now could very easily be in Coachella or Indio or, Palm Desert. And we try and
Yeah,
make things
yeah,
very.
minus St. Teresa's. So that's
Yeah.
definitely in Palm Springs. And in the mountains in the back, I was going to depict the San Jacinto Mountains.
Great. And then this is, I guess, more of a question for Christine, but where on Demuth Community Center is this intended to go? Because, so much of that, it's sort of a brutalist architectural style. And with the divots in the cement, I'm curious where you guys were thinking this should go.
I think there's talk of having it inside. Just so it's preserved.
But public arts money needs to be something that's available to the public 18 hours a day.
Yeah, we initially wanted to put it outside.
Yeah.
And I think Christine just mentioned that I think there was talks about putting it inside, but initially what I wanted to do is to have it as a public mural that everyone can see. That would be on the exterior as you were entering into the Demuth Park Center. And what I would like to see done, if that is possible, is to create some type of foundation that would come off the existing foundation, and that I would paint on that panel.
Yeah, as I said, I think there's some structural challenges. I don't have the solution. I'm happy to do a site inspection with you both, but we can't fund something that is closed. It needs to be available to the public at least 18 hours a day.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I would strongly urge you to do the mural on the exterior of the building.
Yeah, that's my preferred location for sure. So we'll do our best to get it to there.
All right, thank you.
And then have either of you had conversations with the Parks Commission on this at all? Because it's their domain in Demuth Park.
Yes, other members of our group have been in touch with the Parks Commission and they're aware. And I think they were the ones that suggested inside, but given the 18-hour a day minimum, then we'll go back and forth with them. But they're supportive of the project.
Okay.
All right, other commissioners, Commissioner Lesniak, do you have any comments or questions?
I'm going to actually mirror what Gary said, because when I look at this, I wanted to see more of a differentiation between what I now know as being what occurred in the Philippines and actually what occurred here. And I'm not seeing a strong, and again, I'm not going to tell the artist what to do. I have suggestions, but I don't go there. I want to see a sense for Palm Springs, for what happened here. As opposed, and that's what Gary had said. So we agree with that. And I'm assuming this is not going to be in black and white.
No, this is going to be full color.
Because what I visualize also too, and I'm coming from an education background, I'm visualizing the mural outside and something in front of this mural that I can look at and read about everything that is happening in the mural.
Most definitely. Yeah, we spoke on that earlier about having a plaque and also a QR code.
I see that because this is a beautiful piece of art. That's how I'm imagining it. But I need to see more of a differentiation between the left side and the right side. I need to in looking at it, I need to know right away that, oh, this is what happened prior and this is what happened in the Palm Springs area. And was there any identification, and I'm sure there was, with Filipinos in this area with aviation? And that's
That
what
I
I'm,
don't know. Yeah, that I don't know. I mean, as far as service, I mean, World War II veterans are very prominent in Palm Springs. So that's why I'm depicting them. And again, I plan to, this is the initial sketch. I mean, obviously, this is the beginning, and I will flesh it out more to make it look representative of Palm Springs. So yeah, I assure you, you'll see Palm Springs.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
If I can just make a quick comment, I kind of anticipated a little bit that you guys might say, you know, you want more Palm Springs elements or to look more like Palm Springs. And I would like to share with you that we surveyed our community, you know, the Filipino members of this community that live in the area. And a lot of what's depicted here are things they wanted to see and things they identify with. What the point I wanted to make about Santos was that he's famous because he fits this narrative about Palm Springs and like Rat Pack and, you know, swinging mid-century. And that's just so narrow, and that's like our brand, and that's what the whole world knows Palm Springs is about, but that's not all there is. And so rather than try and fit this grassroots, you know, artwork into some larger narrative of Palm Springs, I'd like it to reflect more what our community feels. That said, I think, you know, and Adam said himself, there can be more elements like the mountains and maybe like famous figures in Palm Springs, but it's more just about like how long Filipinos have been here and that they're still here and what their lives are like.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think we totally get it. We just want the sort of more of the essence of grounding it with the mountains, the palm trees. So you get the Palm Springs locale, not necessarily, we don't want to enforce the Palm Springs modern and all of that, because we've got other murals that will depict that. So yeah, just a little bit more of a nod for Palm Springs.
And to add to what the artist was saying about the San Jacinto Mountains, I'm already seeing, I'm assuming they're rice fields on the left.
Yeah.
And to balance it out with the San Jacinto on the right, that actually could be the element that we're looking for. Again,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, from what you can see now, it's just a placement of mountains, but that's my intention to put the San Jacinto Mountains.
Okay, Commissioner Newkirk, do you have any comments or questions you wanted to ask?
No, my only comment is that I think it's going in very much the right direction, and I'm looking forward to seeing the progress.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Commissioner Favo?
The only thing that I have to add is that the Black Filipino community want also to be represented and make sure that they're in there as well.
For sure.
That's all.
Great. We'll look forward to a new and lively variation of your mural. But no, we are,
Thank you.
as I said, we're very much in supportive of this. So we just need to get it in the proper order of process, and then we can move forward. So thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to number 2 under item G. We have to amend the approval of the gift of band booty from the estate of Steve Maloney, reducing the gift from 3 7-foot pieces to just 1 7-foot long by 18 inches deep by 36 inches high piece of art. Because I was informed recently by Hugh Wakeman, who is working with the Steve Maloney estate, that the 2 of the pieces making up the 3 were in a separate storage container, which got moved and has sort of become missing in action. And they're not confident that the 2 other pieces will be indeed found. So we just need to, for our order of records and process and approval by the Airports Commission and City Council, to amend the acceptance of our gift, of the gift of bamboo from 3 pieces to 1 piece. So if I may, I just want to make that as a motion. To accept the gift of bamboo from the estate of Steve Maloney, reducing the gift size from 3 7-foot pieces to just 1 7-foot piece. So do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Yeah, just a item of technical. All right, then moving on to item 3, discuss and approve the repair to chairman of the Links for $895 as recommended by our maintenance firm Signature Sculptures. And Jay, you did have in the materials the actual invoice from Signature Sculptures. Did everybody receive that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because as I said, with the maintenance contract, when you look through it, they're basically the cleaning and polishing and refurbishment. But when they do find very specific structural and or damage to a piece, then that's over and above what the contract stipulates. So then it comes back to us for approval of the monies that are required. And Jay, can you pull up the pictures? There we go. So the chairman of the Links is at risk of losing his golf club. So this particular piece, chairman of the Links, has an approximate value of 50,000 according to this inventory list that I've now received. So we need to spend the $895 just to repair and make the golf club intact with the piece. Brett Fiore, who is the owner of Signature Sculpture, said if we needed to recast a golf club, it could be approximately like $5,000 or more. So it's just a necessary expenditure that we need to make this piece intact and protect it. So any questions? Would somebody like to make a motion? Or I will if no one else will.
I was on mute.
All right.
Oh, go for it. I'll second.
All right. I would like to make a motion that we approve the amount of $895 for the repair of chairman of the Links to our maintenance firm, Signature Sculptures.
Oh, second.
Right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, item number 4 is to discuss and approve a contract extension for Tyson Knight for maintenance of the benches and utility boxes, and in the amount of $5,000 for the period of January 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2023. His current contract is up at the end of December. And as I'm sure you're all perfectly aware, Tyson is just doing an amazing job of maintaining all of our benches and the utility boxes. And in a pinch, he just did a masterful repair of graffiti that got tagged on popsicles, and it's restored to its spectacular view. So I just wanted to do that extension. Any questions or thoughts on that?
Nope.
Has that contract been available to any other artists other than Tyson for the last 5 years?
I was questioning on that because of the amount of money that it's gotten. The city did sort of suggest that we do a request for proposals. So Jay, if you could respond to that to see if the city now would want us to do that, or because I did quantify that Tyson is the expert on all aspects of the benches and utility boxes. So
Yes, Mr. Chair, the council did ask to go on and proceed with the RFP process if we were going to do this particular contract. So I believe that might be in order. If this is on an emergency basis, however, we can maybe extend the existing contract based on those needs.
What is the length of time, start to finish, to do a RFP and have a person in place for doing repair and maintenance?
It could take a good 2 months to solicit, get the responses, review, and then make the selection and execute a contract. Of course, bringing it to city council for approval too, as
Right.
our art funds.
Russell, question?
Let me just finish before. So then I think it would be advisable for us to approve this extension and then in February or March, ask wherever we do it to city manager's office or council to do an RFP at that point.
Yes.
Okay. Was that going to be your question, Matthew?
That was my suggestion.
All right. Yeah, because it's important that we have somebody in place to maintain all of these. It's like the tagging that happened on popsicles. Tyson had that repaired in like a matter of 2 or 3 days. And we just can't have our public art being defaced and not being looked after. So Matthew, would you like to make a motion to extend his contract?
I make a motion to extend the contract of Tyson Knight until I believe you said June of 2023. And during
January 1 to June 30th, 2023.
January 1 to June 30th of 2023. And during that time, we'll put out an RFP.
Right. And did you say the amount of 5,000?
I am now $5,000.
I will second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And we definitely will put that on the agenda February, March, and so we can get the RFP in place. Or if Jay, if that's just something, do we need to agendaize that, or does it just, would city do it?
You know, it was a city council request. I think we can move forward on the RFP, get that out as soon as possible.
Mhm.
However, Commissioner Favreau, was your vote on that in favor?
Oh, I'm abstaining from it because it's already gone over. Being able to make it available for another artist.
Thank you.
All right, well, then we'll put out the RFP early in the new year. Right. All right, so we're done on that one. All right, so item number 5, consider request from Sunup Rotary in the amount of $3,000 for the Chalk Art Festival, which I believe the dates are March 18th and 19th, 2023. And did I see somebody from the Rotary Club here? There you are.
There are 2 of us. Scott Atkins is going to do the lead on this.
All right.
Scott, you're on mute.
He's having trouble unmuting. So,
Okay, I'll carry this forward then. I'm Stephen Levine. I am the past, shall we say, chairman of the Chalk Art. Scott is doing this now for me. I've done this for 5 years. And the Arts Commission has in the past always given us funding up to the amount of $3,000 to cover the expenses from the city to use Museum Way, use Bellardo as our side streets, to close them off with barriers and having the streets cleaned for chalk artists that we have both professional, and last year we had 21 of them, plus student artists from the middle and high schools from actually the entire Coachella Valley that may be participating. And these funds will be used for steam cleaning the streets prior and after the Chalk Art Festival, again, March 18th, 19th. And that we would need barriers obviously put up that's been approved in the past by the fire department and public health, that they would be able to move in if there was an emergency in the area. And we're doing this on both Saturday and Sunday. And that we would have facilities, including security, now that we would be paying for to protect the artists and vendors that we may have along these streets for these 2 days. And we have presented this actually as a project for the city of Palm Springs, sponsored by the Palm Springs Center Rotary. And all monies raised would go to our foundation, which would be used entirely for projects here in the Palm Springs, Coachella Valley area. We have one other thing on the agenda, is that we do have one thing added this year in regard to our fundraising, is that the winning artists would have their project put on a mural here in Palm Springs. Speaking with Jasmine over at Park and Recreation, she did recommend one of the possibilities, not conclusive, that would happen at Demuth Park, as we had just had conversations with. And this is, amount that our foundation would pay for, not asking for the city one dime for it. That would come from the top donation prize of $10,000 to our foundation. And we're asking just for the commission to fund us on the ground so that we can move forward. And this has been very successful. And that we would like the city just to make sure that the facility is maintained. We've asked for barriers that would happen to happen across all of the streets leading into Museum Way, both ends Museum Way, well, actually 4, and then Pillardo, left and right, and that one extra barrier to be put on the exit way, that there's so-called traffic way between businesses and the vacant park. So no other vendor would be on there and would be able to drive across our property of the chalk art, which happened last year. And it turned out at that point, speaking with Jasmine, that they held their event without city approval. But we're willing to work with this. We've had a great relationship with the city, Parks and Recreation, and we're just asking for that the council pick up the funding that the city charges so we can put up the event. We are a nonprofit. We have this presented to the public as a Palm Springs event, and we're very happy with that.
Well, I think we too are also very happy with it. Gary and I had the privilege, last year of being judges for
Yes, you did it. Thank you, Brett. And you nailed it right on the road. Thank you.
Thank you. No, it's a spectacular art event. It creates art cross-culture, cross-age. I mean, it was spectacular to witness. It was wonderful to be a part of the whole process. So I wholly support our funding of this event for $3,000. Any questions from commissioners?
I would like to throw one more thing in there, if I may.
Certainly.
We would love to have the commission reach out to the community to help bring us the students to work and come in here. In the past, we've had great response from the Palm Springs Unified, and actually even from out in India, from Coachella Unified.
Mhm.
But we would really like to have more participation from the Arts Commission to reach out to the school systems, all 3 of them here in the Valley, to bring students in, because we really are a club that we can promote a lot of things. We do a lot for students, and this would be great. And they do get monies if they win prizes.
Yeah.
So that would be great.
Well, yeah, so it would be terrific, Jay, if you can share this information with Commissioner Pavot So it would be wonderful to engage the Desert Highlands Community Center and their student population to be participants in the Chalk Festival. So-
I want to jump in, and Stephen, yes, I thought it was a great event. I had 3 comments, one that you addressed already, which is, I think I suggested turning one of the winning designs into a mural, because there was some great creativity that I think needs to be memorialized. Two comments kind of related to what you said is, I would like to see more student participation, because I think that that's, it's just charming, their work, and we want to engage students early into appreciation of art in Palm Springs. And then the other is a lot of the professional artists, this is a whole subculture I was not aware of, but they go from Chalk Festival to Chalk Festival. And all these people that we were talking to were, we're from Oakland or we're from here and that, which is great. I'd like to engage more professional Palm Springs region artists to participate in the professional chalk portion as well.
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Stacy commented last year that she would like actually for your commission to reach out to artists in the Valley.
Yeah.
Obviously more from Palm Springs, but here in the Valley that would participate. If they could do drawings on canvas or do digital, whatever, they should be able to do chalk art.
Well, and so many of the ones that we saw were using chalk paint as well.
Well, actually the chalk paint, again, is chalk, but a lot of them used the chalk paint because the surface they're coloring on, creating their art, is not very smooth or very clean. So they have to use the chalk paint. But then again, it is chalk paint, not latex or anything like that, that can be easily removed from the street by the city that you're going to help fund to do the cleaning that is necessary. And we understand that.
Okay. And I think Scott has some comments.
He does. Scott, are you there?
Oh, we got it. Thank you, Scott.
No, we can't hear him.
No. All right. Okay, well, just a comment. We have used chalk artists in the past for some of our Arts Commission events. So, Jay, if we're still able to do any postings on our Palm Springs Public Arts site, if that's still live or is that dead, could we?
It's alive. The concern we discussed in the past was that it has to be able to be made available as a public record. And so we're in the process of, I guess you would call it co-opting that site into city ownership so that we can control it. So I believe we will still be able to use that for calls for artists. I'll just confirm with our IT department.
Okay.
That gain control of the site.
Yeah, and we can also reach out to the Desert Art Center to see if any of their artists would be interested in doing this. So
I'd like to add something. If either of the gentlemen, because I gave my email address out to them for another reason, but if either of the gentlemen could send me like an advertisement for it or a printout for it, I can go to local schools because I do know some art teachers in the area, and I can hand it to them so they can tell their students about it.
Actually, it's very simple. We also have a website that was specifically done for chalk art. It's called Palm Springs ChalkArtFestival.com.
that's easy.
That's why we did it. We didn't say Rotary, we said Palm Springs. We are happy to be in Palm Springs. We support Palm Springs, and you've done great with us.
Right.
So anything else, you can get hold of Scott or I. Scott is our lead. I'm the administrative part, but Scott is our lead. And we'd be very happy to work with you guys, meet with you, and really to push this.
All right.
We used to get a lot of help when Ryan Wall was principal at Palm Springs High School when we held it there. We got a lot of students, we had people, but when we moved it downtown on Museum Way, it exploded.
Yeah.
We lost the students. And that's where we need your help.
All right, great.
We had last year 21 professional artists, and the winner, frankly, was from North Carolina. So, you know, we got a lot of people here in California. I'll be contacting them all literally December 1st as a reminder to come to us. And we've had great response, but we really would like to get local artists and local students, because that's what we're all about.
And question, is there a deadline for artists to apply? And
Well, actually, if we're doing March 18th, March 17th would work. Show up, we will find a space for you, because
very,
the
very good.
same way with Maryland in the middle, both sides, we are great.
All right.
And we have plenty of room.
All right. And then I have one question for you, Steve, and also the question would be also for Jay. Are we able to have any notification of support by the Palm Springs Public Arts Commission on any of your websites or postings?
That's up to Jay to push it there.
Are we able
We're
to
open
do
to
that?
everything. We're listed on literally 12 sites for artists around the world.
Right.
I mean, international sites. And I've already had 4 people out of the US asking about our site.
The best thing to do is probably draft a press release for our communications director to push out to the press, and that also goes on our website.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, then I'll make a motion that we would support the Sun Up Rotary in the amount of $3,000 for their Chalk Art Festival 2023 dates March 18th and March 19th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wonderful. Well, oh, and then Steve, if you would reach out to us in January or February, if you would be so inclined to have a couple of commissioners be judges, and we could, I think we'd be willing to do that again, but not necessarily Gary or I, because we did it last year.
Very good. We appreciate it. And you guys did a great job.
All right. All right. All right, thank you. All right, moving along. Item H, project updates. Number 1, utility box, pardon me, utility box project update and brief mapping. Commissioners Favo and Lesniak, do you have anything that you wish to report?
There's just a couple of artists that are still pending on painting the boxes. They were supposed to start this week, and they're going to give me pictures and information when they're done.
Great, yes, it's perfect weather for painting utility boxes.
Can I question, at one point, the commission was supposed to review the designs. Is that no longer, I mean, how do we, who is reviewing the designs?
I think at this point, it's very acceptable for Commissioners Favo and Lesniak to review the designs.
Has that happened?
So if we have any new artists that are coming forward that had not been in the mix prior to.
That's what I can say regarding Commissioner Favo. She's communicated with me about everything, so the communication is being exchanged between us.
All right.
So 2 people have seen designs from the artists.
There's one in particular that I just received yesterday, yes.
And you too, Gary, can look for all the designs on the webpage. There's a site that has everything up on it from the city.
No, that before they're up. Before
No,
they're produced.
Say that again?
My question is somebody vetting the designs before they go up?
That's already been done.
Okay.
It was done before you were a commissioner.
So these are old designs and these are like 2 years old?
It's the same, it's the continuing of the project that has always been going on.
Okay.
Are you saying that the project is old, that it should be revamped? I don't understand what your point is.
No, I think this was misunderstood that there's already pre-approved designs that are still yet to be painted. Correct?
Is that what he's asking? I don't know.
Well, I was asking, when I came in, there was a lot of back and forth that the designs were going up either on the benches, the utility boxes, and they were not sort of pre-approved. And I was just asking, I just want to make sure that more than one commissioner is seeing these designs before they're complete. And if these are designs that were approved 2 years ago, I just want to ensure that they're sticking true to what was presented 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not understanding what you're trying to get across.
Just a suggestion, and maybe in the communication line that's going on is that, and I hate to say this, Jay, is that maybe the communication be shared with all the commissioners so we're all updated on what's going on. That might be a possible solution.
Yeah, I think Commissioner Favo is, and to hopefully answer Commissioner Armstrong's question, Commissioner Favo is referring to designs that have already been approved by the Arts Commission and I believe by the City Council. But the painting hasn't actually begun yet. So that may be the painting she was referring to that is pending and should be forthcoming.
The paintings have begun and they've been ongoing for the last 2 years. We have to take in consideration this happened during the pandemic and I was still getting stuff out, painted and done. So I'm not exactly sure.
Anyway, the bottom line is you have artists, you have approved designs, and painting is continuing, correct?
That's true.
All right, okay, great, let's move on. I do have one question, though. The box that you got, the artist who did the AstroTurf box here on Indian Canyon and Chichiva, that's now just a green box, are we going to reach out to that artist to do a new design and have him do that box again? Because it was,
I'll reach out to him again.
yeah, because it was through no fault of his that the AstroTurf overheated the box and
Right.
it's like, so he should have the privilege or it should be made available to him to do it again with the additional $500 fee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was not his fault that it didn't work. We didn't anticipate that problem, so it's a box that needs to be painted because it's just green.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. All right, moving on to item 2, Francis Stephen Park, Social Issues Wall, Commissioner
Oh,
Armstrong.
quick question. Sorry, Russell, to go back for a second. There was a box that Tyson was supposed to get in with a person, and I believe he prepped the box. And that was in the time that you were going to talk to Tyson about prepping that box. I know the box has been prepped, but the artist hasn't painted the box. That was supposed to be, I don't know if he relayed any information to you because he didn't really.
The only one that I put the artist in touch with Tyson because she'd emailed me, and now I think her name is Rhonda. I would have to go to my notes. The box is on Taquits and Caballeros. She sent me a couple of pictures of maybe last week of her in the process of painting, and now it seems to be stalled. So I actually emailed her either yesterday or today, asking her when she was going to complete the box, because it's now just solid panel colors.
Okay.
With no design, so.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that she was still doing that box because another artist was, from the correspondence I got, she wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that she is going to still do it.
Yeah, she is doing it, just not completed, because it does have like 4 different colors, one on each different side, so.
Right, okay.
I'll follow up with her and CC you on the email to her.
Okay, thank you. And the another artist that I just sent information out with, Kylie, she got back to me and she was saying something about the location. She didn't feel safe being in that location for that particular box. I know that there's a box over
That was
by
on the KFC.
Sunny June's. Yes, that one. It has a heavy homeless population over there. And a couple of artists have said, they're a little hesitant. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't want to put any artists at risk. So if they're uncomfortable, then just assign them a different box.
Okay, I just wanted to just let you know that that was what was transpiring with that box. I did give her another location and now she wants another location.
Alright.
So
And
I
then,
gave her another location. She's looking at that location and hopefully she'll get back to me soon.
all right, and then we'll just find some badass artist who will do that box.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I would just like to add something to Russell. You had sent the name of an individual artist. She's with the local Agua Caliente tribe. And I did reach out. I haven't heard anything back. I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Oh, good. Yeah, because I think we need to pursue her.
Oh, and forgive me on this, Russell, because Matthew did reach out to me on this, and I think now's a good time to ask about this, is that the boxes that are on native land, they don't have to go through city approval, or do they still have to go through city approval? Or do they have to go through the Bureau?
Well, no, I think the only approval that's necessary is we have to get the city engineer to identify that these are our boxes. And then,
Okay, let me go back. So the boxes that I'm speaking about, and what Matthew, I was asking Matthew because he wanted to pursue this box idea. The ones that are located on Agua Caliente property, there's a lot of boxes available. And I was reached out to before to ask if we would paint those boxes as well. But where I got held up was the fact of who approves those boxes. The city, it's not city land. So the city council, does that still have to go through city council approval? Or does Matthew, or should Matthew and I go to the Bureau and ask them, the Indian, I'm not sure what it's called. I think it's the Indian, the Agua Caliente Indian Bureau that's across from the Air Museum.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we have to go to them to ask them if we can paint the boxes on their land, or if it's through city council. I'm not sure of that process.
okay, well, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, but I would assume that the boxes actually are city property that happen to be on tribal land. And that I would
Right.
suggest that the designs that you already have can be assigned to any box that is identified as a city property box. So no other approval needs to be necessary. And if you get new artists coming into the mix, like this woman, there's a young girl who just got in touch with us. If she was interested in doing a design that you, Shonda, and Commissioner Lesniak can approve that design and just move forward with it. It doesn't need to go any further than that for approval.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Can I add something to this? I think it would be nice, and I'm willing to do this, to reach out to the local tribe to find out if they've got any artists that would actually like to do those boxes with something significant to the local tribe.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting to, that it would be a series of boxes that are on tribal land that are tribal artists.
All right.
I would love to do that. That would excite me.
That's what I was trying, that was the email, that exchange that we had, that I was trying to figure out how you can do that.
All right, then go for it, people. All right, so let's move on to item number 2, Francis Stevens Park Social Issue Wall. Commissioner Armstrong, do you have anything you wish to report? So we're 25 minutes to our closing time. And you're muted.
Sorry. Barrett and I will be working on some installation component. But I did want to address 2 other meetings that I had the past week. One was a meeting with Al Jones, who used to be the head of the Human Rights Commission, I believe, and Ann Sheffer, who used to be the chair of the Palm Springs Public Arts Commission.
Al Jones was most recently chair of the Airport Commission.
Correct. And he is working on a piece that they intend to hopefully put into Francis Stevens Park. And it will be, initially, they talked about doing a wall that will address the contributions of gay and lesbians and their allies to the culture of Palm Springs. They're not sure the actual form the piece will take. They will be working and do a call for artists, but they just wanted us to be aware of that. And our support, as I said, I told them that, sort of our vision for what we're doing for Francis Stevens Park art-wise, and it fell within that. So that's just something ahead. Also at the meeting or the dinner that I addressed that I was at on Sunday, I sat next to the head of Desert X, the founder, Susan, and she talked about how they are doing Desert X in March. They do not have the locations finalized for the thing, but they would be eyeing something in Francis Stevens Park as well. So that's just to keep ahead on that. Okay.
Okay, item number 3, art mapping and everything associated with art mapping. Commissioner Newkirk.
Yes, Commissioner Lesniak and I met a couple of weeks ago now with a representative from Story, which is the online app creation service that we had identified as a potential tool to use to create our Palm Springs Art Walk, art mapping online app. I thought it was very informative and did sort of confirm that if we did want to pursue a project like this, that would be a viable option. They provided more information about their pricing, including, how they can support in helping build the app if we are able to provide the content. And I shared a document that listed some of those price breakdowns and some additional examples of apps and online apps or web-based apps that have used Story. A couple of concerns are still lingering. One is the question that came up last month about public websites and record keeping, and if that would apply to an app like this, and also just the manpower of creating the app and maintaining it. And I think we might want to have some conversations. This might fall into conversations about the website and our social media, if we want to include an app like this in that sort of package of content that we're hoping to create. So I'm sure Commissioner Lesniak has some other comments.
First, thank you very much. I was actually very impressed. I thought it was something that I thought it was very interesting. The concerns that I have, and I've shared these with Barrett, just as continuity, in the sense that we don't begin something that other future commissioners may just let fall. Because I think identifying our art, creating small walking maps are really important for the growth of the commission and for our art that we have. I was also asking if possibly other area commissions, in Palm Desert, in Cathedral City, or even our local museum, which is very, very good, have apps for their artwork that maybe possibly we could find out information from them. Those are the concerns that I had, the issues that I had. Other than that, I think it's a good idea.
Have either of you reached out to the Chamber of Commerce for the art app that they have?
Yes.
Are you talking about the Visit Palm Springs?
Yeah, is that what the app is called? Yeah.
One of the things that I've been doing, and Barrett knows this because I enjoy doing this and I've wanted to do it for a while, and I wanted to have it finished for this meeting, but I still got a few that I've got to do, is I've been going through the art that they have there, because it's not complete for Palm Springs. They don't have, for instance, the convention center. They have none of that art there. So I've been going through and putting down the names of the artist, a small brief on what the art piece is, and the date, which I've had difficulty finding the date where it was installed. Because the way the app is set up now, they don't have a lot of that information.
Right.
So I thought in order for us to move forward, that was a good place to start. So I will have that. If we have a meeting in December, I will have that done within 2 weeks. So.
Well, yeah, and I recently supplied the Art GPS people with a lot of the updated information with what was already there. And as soon as I send this inventory list, you will have access to artist name, what it was installed, what it is, and where it is.
That will help me a lot, actually.
All right.
And what when that's finished, I will send it to Jay and he can forward it to everybody for your comments, you know.
Yeah, and then Jay just needs to guide you guys with what you're creating and whether it's something that we are allowed to do.
Yeah, I'll say, I think it is great that we're working with the tourism group to update their app and get it, you know, as complete as possible with the latest information. I don't think that is a substitute for what we're envisioning with our own walking tours.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay.
It's all different.
Yeah, I would just add the public records does apply to apps also, but our IT department said they believe they can work with it. One thing they said though is that, you know, it's better if the city has control of the app, making sure the city be the account holder. So.
Okay.
All right, well, as we move forward with that, we can work out the details of how that would proceed. Perfect, thanks. Okay, item number 4, talk with Median Art Installation, Armstrong and Lesniak.
Matthew and I have been meeting and looking at the venues, and he's sending me photos every day of different things. I did a write-up that I circulated to all the commissioners today with an approximate timeline and budget. And next steps will be presenting this concept again to the Human Rights Commission. I spoke to it in general terms at their last meeting, so I'll be presenting this again in December. I did mention this concept to Susan at Desert X, and she thought it was interesting, and she said she would help us secure some different artists to approach as well. As I'm talking to different people about this, they all have some ideas, some artists that we can go after that'll be multi-racial, multi-generational, multi-economic, multi-sexual, everything to cover all of the areas that we want to approach with this concept.
Fantastic. It's going to be absolutely brilliant.
So, okay.
All right. Okay, on to item 5, discuss neighborhood arts grant request for World Art Night Festival at Demuth Park. This is Commissioner Newkirk.
Yeah, thanks. This is like a preliminary conversation of a proposal for a neighborhood arts grant that we'd like to bring back probably at the next meeting in January, depending on the feedback that we get here. And Shane Carr from the Demuth Park neighborhood is here as well. So I'll just do an introduction and then pass it on to her. I've had conversations with Shane and others from the neighborhood. I think this has the potential to be a really great community-driven, resident-focused, you know, big art promoting event in Demuth Park, which, you know, we're already giving a lot of attention to with moving art there, relocating art there, and the mural project that we discussed earlier. So World Art Day will be celebrated on April 15th, 2023. And this is an opportunity for Palm Springs to participate with its own homegrown festival in Demuth Park that they're calling Art in the Park in the Dark, because it would be of an evening. They've got lots of really cool ideas, different, like a nighttime gallery with lights and a laser show, and they're already talking to local artists and artist groups. So I think there's definitely a good fit here for the neighborhood art grant. I think it's just a matter of identifying how we want that grant utilized to support the event, whether that's like a general sponsorship or through a specific project like the painting of the picnic tables and benches that they're hoping to do in the park. So I'll let Shane elaborate a little bit.
All right.
Hey there, Shan Carr, 24-year resident of Palm Springs. And I have been the alternate rep for Demuth Park for 6 years. I like to kind of stay in the second position. But I recently had a crazy idea about doing something at night in the park. And I went to a series of meetings with Parks and Rec, and turns out they were already doing something called World Art Day on April 15th. And they'd garnered some budget for it, and they were all excited, and they wanted to see if I would come in and help them with stuff. And the budget, it turns out they were bragging about, was $3,000 for their whole World Art Day. So I am hoping, or they have actually agreed to let me sort of glom on to World Art Day and be World Art Night a little bit later in the day, still in the park. Hopefully I can stay under their wing this first time of trying to pull it off. And the hardship I have is there's a bunch of people who want to participate. And I feel like I'm going to need way more, insurance and structure. Jasmine has already met with me once from Parks and Rec as well. She's willing to support it in any regard. The Arts Commission situation, I was just thinking you guys could sponsor a couple of, there's picnic tables with benches, which I realize is a bit more substantial than just a bench.
Right.
But I would love to see some stuff in the congregational areas. There's a gazebo thingy with 5 little picnic tables and benches at one end of the park. And then there are 10 picnic tables and a stage with no electricity and no lights and sound. And so through art, I would like to move Demuth Park forward a bit. And if we could get a couple of more benches painted or picnic tables, we already have a few there. We have 5 or 6 different pieces of artwork. I hear you guys are moving some more. So we'd like to, maybe find sponsors to pay to light up all the art that we already have and will newly maybe have by then, and create a night gallery. Even the artist who did the 9s and 11s in the middle of the park has been in town locally recently, speaking on art. And so we'd like to find the artists that already did their work. That one was a class full of kids in 1999. How fun would it be to hunt down those kids? Who they are now, are some of them artists. We want to get some benches painted, and we'd like to light up the park for a night gallery on World Art Day and do art in the park in the dark. The Burning Man friends of mine from the Bike Brigade have thrown their hat in the ring, and they'd like to help maybe work on a light me up pageant for kids. Light your bike up, light you up. They've agreed to ride all the great new sidewalks we have going through. And one of my best friends is one of the world's most renowned laser designers. And if there's any way we can apply for and get the permit, he's agreed to do it for like 1/10 of what it costs him to do it. So I've put him up for 18 white party weekends. He owes me. So he's, and he even just got a new drone license, but we're not going to talk about that yet. But so people just keep throwing their hat in the ring. My fear is that it's more than I'll be able to manage unless Parks and Rec really does want to tuck me under their titty and take me along.
Right.
I require some adult supervision. I'm aware of that. I appreciate Brett showing up to talk to me about this. And Edwin from the Mural Project has thrown his hat in as far as the gallery as well. And Charlie Ciali from Past Arts Commission says he's got 1 million stretch canvases. He said, I can bring 100 kids and stretch canvases to the park. And we figured out, the girl from Parks and Rec figured out how to make glow in the dark chalk. And we have all those new sidewalks. So the idea, it turns out, I thought, how would that work? But it turns out you can get a blacklight flashlight for $6. So another cool thing so anyway, if we're able to raise money with it, I'd love a year or 2 from now, if we can do it a few times, to raise money for solar lighting for the arts in the park in the dark. So that it could be a night walk, a night gallery all the time available to the public. So kumbaya hippie shit. We'll see what sticks.
Well, brilliant. Well, yeah, keep working with Barrett and come up with sort of a very specific thing that we can do. And we'll all keep our fingers crossed that by Saturday, April the 15th, you will have 3 John Clement sculptures in Demuth Park.
Right. And even if we can't get that mural done, we could project it on the outside of the community center. We could project the tentative mural on the outside. And so, yeah, I'm excited to hear that we'll have these other 3. Are those the squiggly red things?
Yeah, there's a red one, a yellow one, and an orange one.
Oh,
They're
okay.
affectionately called the squiggles. Yes.
Oh, good. Well, I found the right word. Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you. I hope to figure out if I just wanted to get that 5. Okay, wait. The benches, what did you pay for them last time? Do you know? Do you know what you paid people?
Yeah, each city bench is, the artist fee is 1,000.
Okay, so if we did 2,500 for 2 picnic tables with benches each
Mhm.
in that little communal area, would that be like the most manageable way for the Arts Commission to put their?
That would be one part that would be very doable for us.
And if I showed up on the Monday thing with 4 prospective art thingies for picnic benches, then could we maybe have that done by April 15th if I showed up with 2 viable out of the 4 or 6 I submitted? Is it crazy to think that kind of turnaround exists? Like if
April.
I showed them to you in January, could they be painted by April and
Uh,
funded? And
Well, yeah, because if we did it in January, city council would need to approve it in February, and then we're good to go.
all
Basically.
right, I'm gonna shoot my sights. Thank you
Yeah,
for
so
listening.
Yeah, so work with Barrett on that and come
Will
up with
do.
a plan.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. You sold it much better than I could.
Good.
You
All
did,
right, bye, guys.
although neither one of you said why the date April 15th is.
That
World,
is World Art Day. We didn't have anything to do with it.
but why that date was chosen by the powers that be that chose it.
Because Demuth Park Community Center is already doing a festival for World Art Day.
Right, but
So
that's the
I'm-
question. Why, do you know why it's that date, World Art?
Oh, why somebody picked it as the actual World Art Day?
Because
I'll
it's the birth date of Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, you do? You asked the question you know the answer to. It's also
That was-
Coachella, which makes
that
it
was a
harder for
pop-
me to get
That
people.
was a pop quiz.
All right, I will remember now.
All right, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, awesome, thank you. Thank you, Barrett, for pushing this forward, and we'll look forward to the plan in January. Awesome. All right, any general commissioner reports or comments? We have about 8 minutes.
Yes, mine's actually kind of a big one. And it was yesterday, Jay and I were at the airport. We were meeting and reviewing all the public art and the art with the Palm Springs Museum there. And the meeting,
Which I would have been to, but I had to work and I couldn't get away, so
Yeah.
sorry.
but, I will say that the meeting was myself, Adam from the museum, Jay, the head of security for the museum or for the airport, an operations manager for the airport, and 3 of the airport commissioners. And I will say that the airport commission is anxious and desperate for more public art. They love art. They want as much art as we can give them. The intent of the review was to go around and assess what pieces were there already and what needed to be repaired and what was our responsibility versus the museum's responsibility. The majority of it was the museum's responsibility. But the first thing that they said was they all want benches inside the airport. They love the painted benches. They want as many painted benches as we can give them. And the challenge, however, is getting the artists through security. Anybody that goes through security that does not have a ticket needs to have a full-time escort all the time that they are there. So a suggestion I had was to have multiple artists design the benches and then maybe have 1 or 2 other artists actually implement the painting of the benches. And that way we just need 1 or 2 artists with full-time escorts rather than having 12 to 15 artists running around and handling everything.
Yeah, doing the multiple artists would be a little bit challenging because they
Yeah.
come with cans of spray paint, other paints,
Yep.
chemicals, stuff that's not very airport friendly.
Yeah. So, and then beyond that, I said, the challenge will then be the maintenance component to it. But I said that we will be doing, we have people that do our maintenance, and that person then could be assigned a security badge, which they could get through to do the maintenance as needed. So if you have a badge, you don't need the full-time escort that you do need for the implementation. There also was a mural opportunity in the airport that we can discuss later. But they are mostly interested in big, beautiful artwork that is photographable and people will want to photograph as well. And the main thing is they're renovating the airport. They're renovating the upper concourse where the huli pieces are right now, the glass, and they are going to be moved And that will be a restaurant bar area, which they won't have the final design for that until January. And so there will be a new location for those pieces as well. So the idea is to potentially move them to where the other piece that we just donated full time to them, the hanging glass pieces, they want to turn that into an art concourse because that's a big space that there's a lot of activity there as well. So that's another opportunity.
Perhaps they would like a lawn chair.
They might like a lawn chair. So we'll get to that. And the end result was that they want to do a overall art plan, which we will put together, and I'll work with the art museum on that component as well. Okay. Shonda, you have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to say something, but not to what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, sorry. So this to me is a great opportunity. And they also responded when I was at the airport commission meeting 3 weeks ago, I guess, on doing a big piece of public art outside, because they are getting rid of a lot of the grass out there as they're redoing their landscaping. And rather than moving forward with landscaping, there's public art opportunities there as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay.
So that might be a possibility for intersecting cubes.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be a good place for it as well.
I do have a
Or if they're getting rid of the lawns, we could give them a lawn chair for outside the airport.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Matthew, you had a question?
Commissioner Savo, I think, was next up.
No, hers wasn't about airport though.
Oh, is Commissioner Lesniak asking a specific question to you on your general comment?
just a question. Are the benches at the airport currently in place?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
actually have a count of those in my records.
Yes, there is. So once we figure out structurally how we can do that, somebody will need to jump in and take that project on, but I think it could be sort of fun.
All right. Commissioner Favo?
Yes, I wanted to find out for February for the Black History Month, how much do we donate as public arts to the Black History Committee in order to do events? They said that we donate every year, and I wasn't sure how much or that we do.
I don't have any recollection of the number, since I don't know, Jay could probably provide that answer for us.
I'll ask Cindy to take a look at that since she handles the payments.
And that's something we would need to do an agenda item in January.
Yes, okay, so can we add that to the agenda for January so we can get that information and be able to vote on it so we can get it in time for February?
Yeah, if you would just send myself and Jay an email to remind us both.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Anyone else? All right, item I, staff person Jay, do you have anything for us to report?
Nothing to report. Thank you.
All right, may I ask you one question for an update? I think it's just one question. The asphalt art budget, when might council see that?
Council has a couple meetings coming up on November 28th and December 5th. I would say possibly December 5th.
Oh, 05, all right. Yeah, because the community that we proposed this art project for is just wondering the status. So Shonda, can you give them the update that it's in the pipeline?
I'm sorry, say that again? You
I
cut
said,
out.
can you just update the Desert Highlands Community Group that we're queuing up the approval of the budget for the asphalt project for either 11/28 or probably most likely 12/05, and then it will start to proceed forward.
Okay, and that particular, where that asphalt art is going to be has a picture or anything available? Because that's the other thing that the community is asking me for, like, what will this art be, or what do they have say in saying?
The design process will happen after we get the budget approved.
Okay, And still, the question stands then, will the community have to chime in, or are they voting on it? Like, how is it going? They're asking, how is it going to transpire?
Yeah, as soon as we have the budget approved, we will determine who the artist will be, and we'll present any design and or ask for the community center if they have any artists. So yes, community center will have full involvement.
Okay, thank you.
Russell, can I add one thing before we leave?
You have 30 seconds.
I just wanted to mention that Main Street Palm Springs will be having on December 2nd at 4 p.m. their 30th annual Hollywood Holiday Banner Award ceremony downtown next to the tree lighting. And it's something where students design the banners and they give out awards to the students. So I just wanted to suggest if anybody's available at that time to turn out.
And when are these banners up?
I think I'm not sure when they're up. I can find out that they're up for the holidays. I do know that.
Okay. Yeah, just let Jay know so he can give us the notification.
Okay.
Perfect. All right.
Quickly, Jay, WOW was approved, Popsicles was approved. And the mural at Desert Highland, was that approved? Did that go in front of council yet?
Yes, all three were approved.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay, cool. All right, any other comments by anyone? All right. So could I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Well, actually, I'll make the motion because we're not doing a meeting in December, in case you didn't notice the bottom line here. So the motion is to adjourn the Public Arts Commission to our regular meeting on January 18th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. via teleconference.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, bravo, anyone. Thank you so much.
Happy holidays.
Oh, yes, happy holidays. See you in January, if not before.
Night, everyone.
See you next year.
Yeah.